Sorry about that. Okay.
I didn't get a notice that I didn't, oh, there it is, recording. Okay, cool.
Okay, cool.
So anyway.
Just announce the date again. Yeah.
Okay, today is November 6th, 2021. And Raymon Grace is our speaker for today. And I've been telling people how to support Tucson Dowsers financially. They can become a member, or they can just create a donation. And they can go to our website at tucsondowsers.net and hit the donation button. And it will take you to a secure PayPal link. Or you can send us a check, make it out to ASD, which is the American Society of Dowsers, and mail it to Tucson Dowsers, care of Carol Dickman. You see her lovely face somewhere on the screen. 2341 North Chrysler, CHRYSLER, like the car, Tucson, Arizona, 85716. And so that is good. Let's see, we want to thank all of the people who signed up as members at the Flagstaff Dowsing Conference. We really appreciate your support. Okay, Arizona, time changes tonight. We are keeping these meetings on Pacific time. We dowsed it, and that was what the answer came to be. So for us, for those of us who do not change time, our next meeting is going to be at 2:30 p.m. instead of 1:30 p.m. So we're moving to Pacific time.
Okay, so the meeting will be held
the meeting
is at 1:30 Pacific time. For folks in Arizona, that means it's going to be at 2:30 on Mountain Time.
Yes.
Mountain Standard Time. So just a heads up for Arizona folks.
There you go.
Everybody else in the world, it's still 1:30
You're
Pacific
time. You're going to stay the same time.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
So,
okay.
And we now have t-shirts available, which I'm wearing one. Ta-da.
I'm wearing one.
Kathleen and Carol have theirs on as well. Yay. They're beautiful. They're $20 a piece. Or your shipping may change. And to order one.
Oops, you're breaking up again, Teresa. Hold on. Are you muted? You went away? Oh, so Teresa went away. While she comes back. So they're $20 for the t-shirts plus shipping, and all you need to do is hit the donate button and put in the message that you want a t-shirt and what size you want. They're 100% cotton. They do shrink when you put them in the dryer. So if you're going to put them in the dryer, you want to order a size up. Although the difference between 2X and 3X is quite substantial, I would say. And okay, Teresa, what's up next? Can you hear him?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, because I could hear and see you the whole time you said I wasn't there.
Okay.
But anyway, so that's the t-shirt thing. Now I have to find my way back. Oh, we have a Tuesday evening dowsing call at 7 p.m. Arizona time. So whenever the time changes, it will still be 7 p.m. Arizona time, which is going to be Mountain Standard Time, which is always Arizona, is always Mountain Standard Time. And we are dowsing to alleviate the effects of drought and weather around the planet, but particularly in the Western US and Southern Canada. It seems to work better if we have representatives from the locales on the call. So it takes 15, 20 minutes, and we just have a nice visit, and we do some good dowsing. And on Thursday nights, the group from Australia, Heather Wilkes and Francis Peterson, have a call to help the planet move smoothly through the difficulties that it's having now with the pandemic. And maybe we'll get Heather to put that information in the chat. Our next month's speaker is going to be Richard Feather Anderson, and he's going to be speaking on evolving with the help of labyrinths, dowsing, and metaphysics. And he will share with us how to shift ourselves and humanity into a heart-centered consciousness. I think that would be a really good thing to have on hand when we're getting ready to move into 2022. I listened to his talk at Flagstaff Dowsers, and I've always kind of thought that labyrinths were fun, but now I just think they're he just brought my awareness to like how powerful a tool they can be and how much we can do with them. And so I'm all excited about labyrinths now. So I hope you join us with that, because I think it'll present you with new information that you never heard of before or considered, and a new way to use labyrinths that is just fun and also powerful. Okay, so are there any other announcements out there from anybody?
Why don't you
Heather,
let
do you want to
Heather,
give what
yeah.
your Facebook page and stuff? You need to unmute yourself, Heather. I don't see you. Well, it's Heather Wilkes, and I think she's at Dowsing Heels on Facebook. And Frances Peterson is at Healing for Australia and Beyond, I believe. Those are my memories. So Heather, I'm not hearing you, but if you want to stick that in the chat, then hopefully you're hearing me.
Okay.
And folks can have that. Alrighty, so we have over 200 people. Yay!
Yeah, woohoo! That's a world record.
So I'm going to then ask, since we have so many people, we're looking for a web designer, somebody to design our website. And if you know of anyone, or if you are one, if you would contact us at tucsondowsers@gmail.com, we would appreciate input. And we are also looking for a secretary. Our marvelous secretary, Kada Mates, has found another job that conflicts with her, her ability to do our secretarial work. And so we're looking for a volunteer to do our secretary stuff, which is basically taking minutes at the meeting for us. And so if you're available to do that, please contact us at tucsondowsers@gmail.com. All right, anybody else? We need to fill this up with announcements so that we can let all of these people in.
I have a quick announcement.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, Jen.
Hi, this is Jan, San Jose, and I wanted to so there's such a large group. I wanted to share with them Jerry Jin's book. It's called The Seeker and the Teacher of Light. Jerry's a scientist, and this book is bridging science and spirituality, and it features Joachim Whippich, who is a dowser, a local dowser, and his affirmations. And there's a website, jerrygin.com. And you can go to that, and probably by the end of this coming week, we will have a document that has Joachim's affirmations. And so if you're interested in that, I'd encourage you to check it out. Thank you.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Thank you, Jan. That's great. The book is great.
Yeah, we use it all the time. Still having people coming on.
Okay, so let me just make an announcement and real quick before we get started. So I just want to remind everybody, once we get started with Raymon, there's two ways to ask a question. I'm going to be muting everybody when we get started, but the first way is to go ahead and type it in the chat. And the second way is to go to the bottom of your page. There should be a little thing that pops up that says reactions. And when you scroll over that, you can raise your hand. And so I'm going to raise my hand. I'll show you what it looks like. That's what it looks like. And the cool thing about Zoom is that when you raise your hand, it puts everybody in order. So automatically gets you in order. So then like Barry, jump on it, Barry. He's the first one. He's one of our board members. But anyway, if you raise your hand.
I was just trying out hitting the raise my hand.
Okay, there you are.
Let's see if I can put it back down.
Yeah,
and I am embarrassed. I'm not wearing my shirt today.
Oh no.
Well, I'm wearing a shirt,
get the memo.
Not the shirt,
Oh, okay. Well, we're glad you're wearing something.
Yeah.
That's a good move.
Okay. There, I took my hand down. There we go.
There you go. So that's how you do it. And so people will be in order with questions. And then if you type it in the chat, then we're also going to be kind of alternating between the chat and the folks who've raised their hands. Okay. So just to let you know that. And okay, I think that was, oh, so, and that's the other thing. If you do raise your hand and we call on you, you're going to need to unmute yourself. And usually that's done in the lower left-hand corner. You'll see a little microphone with a line through it. And when we call on you, please unmute. And then when we're done, please mute yourself back again. Okay. And so we're just going to go through. So I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody. And then Teresa, you'll need to
Kathleen.
mute. Yeah.
Wait, Kathleen.
Mhm.
I'm having a hard time admitting Linda Bertot.
Yeah, I have.
tried to.
Okay,
I'm
go
having
ahead.
a.
I
I'm
have
having
her
a
on
hard
the
time.
phone, so
Oh, you
I'm gonna go talk to her in just a second. So Linda,
Okay,
if you'll hold
okay.
on, but in the meantime, we need to get rolling with this.
Yeah.
So Teresa,
Okay.
I'm gonna mute everybody,
So,
and
okay.
then you'll have to unmute, and Raymond, you'll have to unmute. Okay, there you go.
Okay. All right. Okay, so hopefully y'all can hear me. Just like nod or give me a thumbs up or something. Oh, okay. Good. So I want to remind folks that this is being recorded, and if you want a link to the recording, you need to go to tucsondowsers.net and join our email list, and we'll mail it to you as soon as we have it uploaded to our YouTube channel. All right, so Raymon Grace is founder and president of the Raymon Grace Foundation, is a dowser, lecturer, and author of 3 books: The Future is Yours, Do Something About It, Techniques That Work for Me, and The Seasons of April. He has created over 60 DVDs sharing information learned over the past 45 years. His books have been printed in English, Italian, Chinese, and Spanish. Raymond's work is being used in several countries for improving water and other areas of self-improvement, and his videos have reached people in 142 countries. He has been a guest on numerous radio talk shows, including the well-known Coast to Coast AM radio. He has been recognized for his work by Virginia Senate. And Raymond is a down-to-earth, plain-spoken person who tells it as he sees it. His dress clothes are jeans and a cowboy hat and boots, and he doesn't own a suit and tie. He is real. And thank you very much, Raymond, for coming on and being with us today. I'm going to mute myself, and you're on. Oh, Kathleen, are you back? She may not be back. Okay, so I'm going to just start with Raymond. We may have just a lot of beginning people here, and it would be awesome if you would just kind of tell them how you start dowsing. You know, what is your mindset? Do you have a protocol? You know, what is it that you do to prepare yourself? If anything.
Okay, now, if I understood you right, you wanted me to say how I started dowsing. Did I hear you correctly?
Well, just, you can say that. I was asking what you do to get ready to douse. It's like, do you have a positioning?
Now, sometimes I don't hear the best in the world, and I have a little trouble with the tone of your voice. So when you talk to me, you speak really loud and really clear. Okay, what do I do to get ready to start dowsing? Okay,
yes.
Pick up and I can. Am I on the camera now?
You are. We see you with your pendulum.
Okay. I simply pick up a bullet and start. Now, I usually will, depending on the situation. Sometimes, if it is questionable, I will ask the question: can I do this? Any reason not to? And sometimes I get a reason not to, but it's very rare. So do I go through any formalities before dowsing? No, not at all. I simply pick up a pendulum and ask a question. I douse driving down the road, holding the steering wheel with one hand, holding the pendulum with the other one. I do not have a chart. I can tell by the way, but just by the feeling of it, where it's going. I ask all my questions, if possible, with this method. What is the overall result of? Now, if you folks out there will use this, it will save you about 90% of the time you've been wasting. And you say, what's the result of what? Well, depending on what you want to know. You come to a fork in the road, take it. What's the result of going right? What's the result of going left? You are thinking about making a purchase on something you're questionable about. What's the result of buying this? if a phone rings and you don't know the person, what's the result of answering it? Same thing with an email. Asking what is the result of is going to save you a lot of time. And I usually go with whatever answer I get. I mean, if I wasn't going to do that, I shouldn't be asking in the first place. So that's how I dial. Now, let me throw out a few other ideas while they're kind of on my mind here. You say, why do you use a bullet pendulum? I just like them. You say you don't like them, then don't use whatever you like. I would suggest that you do not spend a fortune on a pendulum. We sell pendulums, we sell them rather economically. You will not get any better information with a gold-plated diamond-tipped pendulum than you will with a bullet, or for that matter, as a nut on a string. So the type of pendulum you have, in my opinion, makes absolutely no difference in your dowsing accuracy. When you get really good at it, just don't use a pendulum and use your arm. Drop it down by your side. This way you can stand in a whole crowd of people, or you can even be on stage in front of people and dowsing with your hand, and nobody has a clue what you're doing. So you can also do that if you happen to be in a place where you wouldn't want anybody to know what you were doing. What I do is just kind of open up my trigger finger here, drop it by my side, and pretend that I have a chart, and I pretend that I know which way my hand is swinging. Now, will my hand move? Yes, it will. Is it as accurate as a pendulum? Yeah, I think so. I don't know of any reason it wouldn't be. So the best rule that I know in dowsing is don't complicate it. Keep it simple. Keep it real simple. And make sure that you are asking the right question, because that's folks' biggest problem, is asking the right question. So that what is the result of ought to help you on that. Another thing that I would suggest is whenever you're asking a question, let's say like buying a house or a car, something that a major purchase, ask this question: how much do I know about this compared to what I need to know? And if you don't know very much about it, be careful. But that's the only way I know to tell you. You do this in dealing with people. You might check their integrity before making an investment or buying anything from them. I always check people's integrity. If it's anything of any significance at all, I check their level of consciousness on David Hawkins' scale, 0 to 1,000. If I'm going to deal with people, I want to know who I'm dealing with. I want to know what they're like. And yes, I do exclude people. I have no problems at all with it. I have this philosophy of deal only with people that you can trust. And I pretty much follow that. I had a letter this week from a lady who just got ripped off real bad, simply because she did not check the person's integrity before she gave them the money. I am amazed that the people will call me and tell me how they've been ripped off and want me to get their money back. Well, usually I am not able to do that. You can't make dishonest people honest. But they don't ever seem to think to contact me before they do this. They do it and then want me to bail them out. And it probably ain't going to happen. So don't try stuff like that. Before you make any major purchase, give money to anybody, trust anybody with anything, check their integrity, check their level of consciousness. I know these people out there say you're invading the person's privacy. They're going to invade your pocket if you aren't careful. So don't fall for a bunch of stuff like that. You've got a right to know anything about the person you're dealing with. Now, if that bothers your belief system, that's your problem and not mine. Because to me, it's just common sense. There's a lot of con artists in the world, and they seek out victims. Number one is don't be a victim. I check people for archetypes. The lady that got ripped off the other day, she had 20 victim archetypes. She was basically just waiting for somebody to come along and take her money. And she had been taught to trust everybody, give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Well, that cost her $3,000. So just use common sense, folks. Don't trust people you don't know. There's a lot of good, honest people in the world. There's some thieves out there too. So you use your doubting to find out which one's which. So where do we want to go next with all this? You want to talk about water? You want to talk about bringing rain? We mentioned this in the other conversation we had it last week. So where do you want to go? Talk about rain, maybe?
That would be awesome. There is one question in the chat about, do you ever ask a direct question such as, is a person in integrity? And then we'd like to go to rain.
Wait, I missed something there. They were talking about integrity. What question?
Yeah, someone wanted to know if you could ask a direct question, like, is this person in integrity?
I would just measure their integrity on a scale of 0 to 100%, plus or minus. That's the simplest way to do. Use the dowsing chart. And there is a free one somewhere on one of my websites. I never know where things are on my website, but it's Walt Wood's chart that I modified. Say Walt was a science professor. I was a construction worker. So I had to simplify things. So I took Walt's chart and erased about 3 because that way when I was teaching it in a class, I didn't have to explain things I didn't understand. So that's what I do. I just keep things simple. Yes, you can just ask, what is this person's level of integrity? What is their desire to take advantage of me? Real simple. I've helped people buy vehicles, houses, whatever, by asking, what is the lowest price that the seller will take for this? And so far, we've done pretty good at it. We haven't been right all the time, but these are just simple questions to ask. I've got some very good deals on vehicles by simply asking, what is the lowest price that the seller will take for this vehicle? And that's what you offer them. And I've saved some of my friends several $1,000 like this. And I really like to help people save money. I like to be as nice to people as possible. So do we have any other questions there? I'm assuming people are writing in questions to you.
Yeah,
No,
we
you're
have.
muted.
Okay, I'm back. And Teresa, I just muted you because you were making a bunch of noise. So just to notice that. Okay. Well, Raymond, we do want to know about water. I know our Tucson Dowsers meets on Tuesdays, and we've been dowsing for, gentle rain, and also for some rain to put out the forest fires. And I just want to know, what is the best approach to take on all that? And the other thing we're looking at now is filling the reservoirs. And I think somebody was telling us that Walt Woods would just ask for the water to come up, from underneath. But do you have any insight on that, and maybe talk a little bit about your water dowsing?
Yes, I can tell you a few success stories here that works. I'm not going to claim to be an authority on this. I actually learned a lot from Walt. He and I were good friends. Let me tell you what I think I have learned. I work for someone in Paraguay, South America, that has a rather large tree farm, and they are doing reforestation down there. And of course, when they plant small trees, they need water. Well, they were having droughts there like there were a lot of other places. So I got to thinking about it. What is causing it? They had the worst drought there than they had in maybe in anybody's memory. And I'm thinking, okay, why? I know the weather goes in cycles. And it finally dawned on me. They cut down all the trees, or cut down a lot of trees. That's why they had the reforestation project going. I found that there was a relationship between trees and rain. Well, actually, it was so simple, I don't know why I even had to think about it, because it rains a lot in jungles and it doesn't in desert. Well, jungles have more trees than the desert does. So I asked if I could create a, I'm trying to remember the word I used, compatibility, I believe was the word I used, between the trees down there and the rain. And then I just asked for the rain to come in off of the Pacific Ocean and move across the land and water the trees. I mean, it was that simple. Well, it rained. We've done this a number of times. Now, I'm not going to say that it always immediately rained. That's not true. I'm saying that overall, we had really good success with it. Did the same thing in Italy. They were having a really severe drought over there. I got an email one day, and I'm thinking, okay, Italy's about surrounded by water. We ought to be able to get part of it to fall out of the sky. So the next day it rained. But what I do is establish a rapport with the spirit, what I call the spirit of rain and the spirit of water. Native American philosophy is that all living things have a spirit. And that's what I found, that if we can create a rapport with the nature spirits, then we can get a lot more done. So that's really what I think I've done. Plus, I have made a career almost devoted a pretty good hunk of my lifetime to cleaning up water on this planet, which I wanted to tell you about here in a few minutes. Okay. So we've done this last week, 2 weeks ago, when this big storm was coming into the coast of California. I have a friend out there, and she had called to ask for help. So we thought, well, let's try something. So we put a 100-mile radius around her house. The next morning she called, and she was so terribly disturbed that wind blew leaves on her porch. That's all that happened. Not only is that, the word I got now, I cannot prove this. This is just the word I got from out there. This was in the Santa Cruz area. They had 10 inches of rain, but there was no flooding. Where did the water go? Well, if anybody out there knows more about it than I do, and you probably do, as to what happened, we think it went in the reservoirs. That's where we intended to put it. Now, did we actually do this? All I can say is the information I'm getting from a friend in California is that is what happened. They had no landslides. We put the spirit of stability into the mountainside because he didn't need landslides or coming off and wrecking somebody's house. So we think, okay, let's stabilize the land. How did you know? We know we could do it. We did. We just didn't know we couldn't. So 10 inches of rain is a lot. Now, you folks may have different information than what I have, and that's okay. But I live in the mountains here. 10 inches of rain here would wash out all the bridges and the roads. But it didn't. So that, I haven't quite wrapped my brain around that one yet. So every now and then we have some very strange things happen that we really don't understand. But after all, that was what we asked for. So I guess that's what we got. Now, I was doing a session in some folks in Perth, Australia, about, I guess it was about a year ago, I think. Seemed like it was November, maybe. And they wanted to know if I would help raise the energy of Perth, Australia. They've been working on it, a group of them there, and they're doing a pretty good job. So I thought, well, yeah, I'll help them if I can. And as I was working on it, I was doing this by Skype or Zoom, just like I am here. I said, where do you folks get your drinking water? And they gave me this name of this lake. I couldn't pronounce it. Well, I started checking it out, and I'm thinking, I've never found any water this bad. And the darn thing had demons in it. Well, I'd never found that before. So I said something to the person I was doing, was moderating the interview there. And he said, well, there's a lot of demonic worship and pedophilia out there around the lake. I said, well, that's probably where it's coming from. So I did a depossession on the lake. And now normally I'd never found demons in a lake before. I didn't even know there was such a thing, but there was. So I got rid of the critters. Then I got rid of the spooks. Then I did my normal energy clearing on the water. Well, there was 40 people on that interview. Not all were from Australia. Some were from Alaska, Canada, New Zealand. But of the 40 people, I got 27 emails thanking me for good tasting water. And from where I live to where Perth, Australia is, you can't get much further away on this planet. It's on the other side, the bottom half of the world. So the point I want to make here is distance is not a factor. I reckon we can work on anything on this planet. And a reason I believe that is just because of the story I just told you and other things of working on things in other countries. So don't ever be intimidated because something is too far out of reach or something like that. That's really not the case, because I really have no reason to believe that distance is a factor when it comes to dowsing. So are any questions coming in on that one yet?
Not on that one yet.
Yes.
Or do you have one, Teresa?
We got a question about you telling the story about the double-edged axe.
Oh, that one. Okay, that's a simple one.
Splitting a storm. Yes.
Yeah, I'll be glad to tell you about that. That come from my old Indian friend, Chief Two Trees, old Cherokee medicine man I used to be real good friends with. He was a herbalist and he was a genius. I can't say enough good things about that man. And he taught me about that. And I thought, well, I don't know any better. I'll just use it. And I have a friend up in Pennsylvania that when that storm they called Sandy was coming up that way, he called me and he said, this storm is coming right directly towards my farm. And he said, what was that you told me to do with that axe? Because people forget things, you tell them. I said, go out there and get you an axe, face in the direction of the storm, and use a double bit axe if you can. That means one that's sharp on both sides. One side goes in the ground, the other side is up like that to split the clouds, split the storm. Well, he did. The storm split and went right around his farm. Didn't even touch it. I lost track of all the stories that I heard about that. I remember some of the older dowsers would remember a fellow named Joe Smith from Johnson, Nebraska. I was telling Joe about that one time, and Joe was a farmer, a rancher, and there was a hailstorm coming, a big one, coming that way. And he goes out there and sticks an axe in the ground, and the crops all around Joe's place get kind of beat up with the hailstorm. Joe's farm got a good rain. Now, after probably, how long I've been doing this? 25 years? Yeah, thereabouts, maybe not a little longer than that, maybe 30 years. After seeing results repeatedly, now I'm not going to say every time because that's not true, but most of the time, after seeing results for 30 years on something, you kind of get an idea that stuff works. So that's why I continue to tell people how to do it and keep working on it. Matter of fact, we've had reports where there was this was 4 years ago, no, 5 years ago, there was a major storm coming into Florida, and I had a friend that lived down there, and they were expecting a great big surge. And she said, it's going to flood my condo. There's no way out of this. And I'm thinking, well, there might be a way out. So I put up an imaginary seawall. It never got flooded. And you say, how did you know to do that? I didn't. It just come to my mind. I just do with whatever I happen to think of at the time. And part of it sounds kind of ridiculous. I know that. But the fact it works. Now, this goes back about 4 or 5 years ago. I remember it was in March. There was a string of tornadoes coming up the Appalachian Mountain Range out of Alabama. It tore Tuscaloosa, Alabama, all to pieces. And it was coming this way. And I walked out there that night, and I never heard anything like that. It was continual lightning. You could have walked out through the woods without a flashlight. There was so much lightning out there. And a continual rumble of thunder like a freight train coming through the sky. And I'm thinking, okay, now I'm gonna get my knife here and show you what it is. I faced in the direction where the storm was coming, which was out of the southwest. I took my knife and I go, ha! And I started the storm. It blew, well, the tornado split. There was a tornado 6 miles to the north and one 6 miles to the south. It blew a tree down out here somewhere on the hillside. That's all that happened here. So don't complicate this stuff, folks. Just go out there and split the clouds. I've got a friend in Europe that for the last, oh, God knows how long, several months, they were predicting an awful lot of rain over there. Like they had 9-day forecast of continual rain. And every day she'd say, will you send me some sunshine? And I would pretend I was standing in Europe, in Belgium, and I would split the clouds with my hands, part the clouds, let the sun shine through, and every day the sun shined. I'll be honest with you, I was surprised. I kind of expected it to happen, but I didn't know it was going to happen every day, but it did. And how much can we influence weather? I don't know. I really don't know. I doubt if we scratch the surface, but I don't really mess with weather very much because weather has natural cycles. It needs to rain for the grass to grow and the trees and water crops and all that. I mean, we need rain. So I don't really like to mess with rain very much. Over there, all I did was cleared it right over her house and yard and let it rain somewhere else. That was okay. I don't want to say that I can control rain. I do not make that claim. I'm just saying we have had good results of splitting clouds, stopping storms, and making some kind of an influence. We've had a tornado disappear. I mean, I'm talking about in minutes. The darn thing just disappeared. It was out in Oklahoma, and I got a phone call, and it was coming right at this person's house. Well, let me see what I can do. So I just step out of my truck and reach out and cut the tornado in half. I get a phone call a few minutes later. The thing disappeared. Did I do it? I don't know. Maybe it would have disappeared anyway. So these are all weird stories, but I live in a weird world. And you know, I don't like to live in a normal world. It's too dull. So it's I try to get things done, and I try to help people as best I can. But boy, here lately, I have been overrun with people. I have not been able to keep up with the mail. So if you write me, I will answer you, please understand, as best I can. As of this morning, I looked and there was 9,402 emails just in one inbox. So if you write me and don't get an answer, you know why. I'm not being rude. I probably didn't see your email. But if I see it and I have time, I will, and you ask a sensible question, I will answer you. If you ask a goofy question, I'll hit the delete button. So, I mean, that's the only way I know to survive. But it seems to work. Now, what else you want to talk about? Oh, I know what I want to talk about. A lot of folks have a lot of problems from what I would call oppression. It might be people who have some degree of power. Maybe it's a boss you work for. Maybe kids in school are getting bullied. It could be any number of things. You don't like the person holding public office, and you probably got good reason not to. Well, I went on a crusade one day, and I depossessed all the county offices. I didn't ask anybody if I could do it. That's another thing. If you have been in the dowsing group long enough, you have learned that you can't do anything without permission. Well, there's no truth to that, folks. There just isn't, because I'm not going to go out and ask a serial killer or serial rapist if I can change their behavior and make them less dangerous. And the whole idea is ridiculous. So I just do what I think needs to be done, and I don't ask questions. The word got around what I had done, and then one day I get a call from one of the officials, I won't say which one, asking if I would come down and clean up the office. I said, well, I don't need to come down there. I can do it from here. So I don't get many requests like that, but every now and then, and some of them, of course, forget I really can't talk about who they are. I got to kind of keep it anonymous. But bottom line is, yeah, people in fairly influential places ask for help, and I always do my best to help them and kind of protect their identity, because they would be very embarrassed if their colleagues found that they ask a mountain man to clean up their problems for them. So best thing to do is just do it and keep it quiet. So, but what I want to tell you is, whether it's where your kids go to school, where you work, your local police department, or whatever it is, most of these people got problems. Well, I made a video for this. It's called Change Energy, Change Your Life. Use it. We have reduced the price down to $28 on it for a download, and it's cheaper than it's ever been. So you just play that. If you don't know how to do it, let me do it for you with that film. You play it and direct it to where you want it to go. If it will help your imagination some, write down where you want it to go, put it in front of your TV set, or take a picture of the place or something. It doesn't matter. All that is for your belief system, because you have to direct the energy. I'm providing the energy. You have to direct where it goes. But if you know how to do it, then you just go ahead and do it yourself. Either way, it's probably going to work fine for you. I find that a lot of folks don't really believe that they have the ability to do something. Well, the way you get that ability is try it and see if it works. And if it works, then do it again. The way I say it is, confidence builds success. Success builds more confidence. So if you practice doubting maybe on a lunch break once a week, you're probably not going to get very far. I douse many hours a day in the fall, especially in the winter when I'm not outside working. It's not uncommon to spend 12 hours a day dowsing. Why? Because I have that many people wanting help. In the summertime, I work outside a lot. I raise big gardens and I got to do farm work and all that. And I just don't have time to handle all the people. I try to handle them in the fall and the winter as best I can, but it's not uncommon to go 12 hours a day dowsing for people. Why? It's just folks need help. That doesn't mean I know all the answers. I really don't. A lot of times I have to figure them out. So people say, how do you know what to do? Well, I usually just kind of look at an hour like that and say, okay, what do these people need? That seems to be about as good a thing to do as possible. And I get a lot of ideas like that. And I'll tell you why. When you look up in the air like this, you're putting yourself in an alpha brain frequency. When you're in the alpha brain frequency, you have access to what I call universal intelligence. So try that. Oh, no, look, you've done this probably all your life. If you're trying to think of an answer or trying to remember something, you look up like this, but nobody ever taught you to do that. You do it intuitively, because that's what puts you in alpha brain frequency. But probably nobody ever told you this, but that's really what's happening to you. And when you're in an alpha brain frequency, you can get more information than you can if you're not on that frequency. So brain frequencies are extremely important. Also, if you can function in the alpha brain frequency, it adds power to your thoughts. You can get a lot more done. So we got another question come in yet? I hope we have, because that kept what's keeping it going.
That was great, Raymond. I just wanted a report back, because the Tucson dowsers we do on Tuesday, we were dowsing in response, like to mitigate the drought, to bring in gentle rain and all that. And last year we had like the driest monsoon ever. And this year we had the second wettest ever, because we started dowsing this year, and we had the wettest July ever. So our getting together and doing this has really shifted the, what's going on here in Tucson. And so, and then it seems like folks, and I think Heather was telling us that because they started dowsing for relief from the fires a couple of years ago, when they were having those big fires in Australia, and they found that if somebody local was involved in the group dowsing, then it improved that local area more than was easier to change the weather in the local area. That was just something that seemed to happen.
Well, I learned that a long time ago, but I won't hardly work on an area unless somebody there is asking for help, because it's usually not going to work out well. It's just like working cleaning up places. I cleaned up an Eskimo village on the Arctic Circle and dropped the violent crime rate to 0 because there was a Canadian Mountie there that was asking for help. So if you call me and say, okay, for example, once upon a time when Detroit, I believe, was having all kind of water problems, people say, why don't you clean up Detroit's water? Well, they never asked me. So I don't go where I'm not invited. I don't let the general public send me somewhere they think I ought to go. Don't even try that, folks. It ain't gonna work. You got to train people how to treat you. Otherwise, they'll have jerking you around all over the place.
I appreciate that. So anybody have any questions for Raymond about water dowsing or dowsing for weather, anything like that?
Well, the truth is, I don't claim to be a water dowser. There's a lot of people can douse water a lot better than I do. Why? Because I don't do it much. I get asked to chase ghosts out of houses and solve problems in schools and families and all this kind of stuff. I bet I have never been asked to hunt for water over a handful of times in my life. So there's a lot of people better at that than I am.
But you're really good though at making water, good water. And I heard that part of, you have like people can sign up with you, right? And then.
Oh yeah, let me explain that.
Okay.
What I do, I had so many requests for so many things. I think, okay, when I'm in class, I don't know the people in class most of the time. I mean, I have people come from all over parts of the world, and I will do what I call a mass cleaning on everybody there during the class, and it takes about a day to do that and explain it. It doesn't take long to do it, but it takes a long time to explain it and answer the folks' questions. So I got to thinking, if I can clean up these people homes, and I will measure the energy before we start and after, and they will leave there feeling a major difference, I can do it for people, even though they aren't physically in front of me. So what I do here is offer for $25 a month to clean up your house and your whole family, and I'll do my best to give you good drinking water. And I started out doing this once a month. That's about less than 1 cup of coffee at Starbucks a week. And I'm thinking, okay, we'll keep this reasonable, keep it economical so people can afford it. And then I got to thinking, we got to treat people better than this. We'll do it once a month, once a week. And then the virus hit. And I'm thinking, okay, these folks need help. And I started doing it every day. And I have been doing it every day for 2 years. Every morning, usually around 6:30, I am cleaning up energy for people. And I get a lot of good testimonials on it. I'm not going to say it works perfectly for everybody. The only thing that works equally for everybody is the law of gravity. It's fairly consistent. But everything else has got a variation to it. But overall, are we making a difference? If I can believe my mail, yes. Okay. So you go to, if you're interested in this, go to RaymondGraceFoundation.org, and there's a place there you can sign up. And my kid April, she takes care of all this stuff for me, does a good job of it. So that's the way you can do that if you want it. That's up to you. So let's see, what else was I going to do? Yes, about the water. When I do sessions with people, not every time, but most times, especially if it's in foreign countries, I like to do it. But I really like to do it for everybody. But it seems like the one in foreign countries I like to do because it gives me the belief of how far out there we can reach with our intent. And what I normally do is ask the people, do you have any decent drinking water? No, this stuff is city water. It tastes like chlorine. Okay, well, you do an experiment with me. I want to do something for you. Now I want you to go, and I'll go ahead and go through my little short procedure. And I said, now you go to the kitchen now, turn the faucet on, let it run about 30 minutes, catch about a half a glass of water, come back and get in front of the camera because I want to see you when you taste it. And they will take a sip of that water and their eyes will get big and their face will light up. This is delicious. Okay, the plan worked. I really enjoy doing that for people. I mean, something about me helping people to have decent drinking water just makes me feel good. So that's why I do it. And they appreciate it. But that's what I do for everybody on the clearing list. I do my best to give everybody decent drinking water. And also, people want to know what's on the list. It's a long list, and I add to it every time I think of something new. I have even added on there, and I told you I wouldn't talk much about this, but I do want to say this. The virus and the vaccine has caused more problems in families than religion and politics ever did. So every morning when I do the clearing, I work to neutralize the controversy on vaccine and virus on families because they get right at each other's throats sometimes. And I'm thinking, well, I've got a choice. I either do something or I don't. So I'm going to try it and see if that actually helps. And right now is the only time I've actually said anything about it. So if you're listening out there and you're on my clearing list, drop me a note and let me know if things are a little more peaceful in your family. I mean, I hope they are, but I won't know unless you tell me. We even get into clearing up heritage because we're all products of our ancestors, and most of us needed better ancestors. And I found that we can neutralize the negative effect of ancestors upon us. I mean, I was my first customer for this. I know it works. So anyway, that's just a few of the things we do, plus the things that normally affect people every day. And I created a film, and most of you probably seen it because I think it's out there available on my YouTube channel. But I created two versions of it, and I don't know if it's a long one or a short one out there. The long version I did for Ozark Research Institute should be about 15 minutes. And I explain in detail what we are doing. Well, I wasn't quite smart enough at the time I made the film to put enough stuff in it. So I put 7 things in it. One of them is here, if I can remember it, the effect of the surrounding area, because energy is contagious. That's one thing I want to tell everybody. Energy is contagious, folks, and I'm not even sure there's a limit to the distance of it. So if you live in a big city, everybody there is an energy unit, and they are generating energy, and so much of it is negative because people, the world's in worse shape now than it's ever been because people have a lot more to be afraid of, worry about, uncertainty. Well, all this stuff is contagious, folks. So I'm thinking, okay, the best way that I can help everybody is to put this in a package deal. So we neutralize surrounding area, mass consciousness of people, human residents, 5G, radiation. Oh, I think I had something else on there. You just have to watch the film to find out. I don't always remember it. And the virus and all things associated with it. And then I got a little bit smarter. So I added government, social media, TV news, and religion. Because people fight about that too. So I thought if we could actually neutralize all this negativity on people, everybody would get along better. You would feel better. So that's why I created that little film, 15-minute film called The Problem Package. And I gave you specific directions on it as to how to use it. So I won't take time to do that now, but watch the film. And then at the end of it, I run out of things to say a little bit before I run out of time. So I told how I built myself a new knee. And I'm walking better now than I did 30 years ago. So I have been my first customer on about everything I'm telling you here. So watch that. And then don't write and ask me if you can do it, because I won't give you an answer right now. Try it and see. That is my standard answer for anybody that writes to ask me, can I do this? I'm going to tell you to try it and see, so don't bother to write. I'm telling you now. So I didn't ask anybody. I have never asked anyone if I could do something. Never. I have done it and then told them what I did. And I think that's why I win more than the average person does. Because I knew if I asked, they'd tell me it couldn't be done. So it's better not to have negative influence. So you folks feel free to watch the film. And if you can't find it, let me know and I'll send it to you. Just don't everybody write it once. Okay, how much more time we got? What do you want to do?
I think we're
Okay.
probably ready to do the hand raising Q and A. Is that it's
Right.
Okay.
2:30
Okay, now
right now.
all you folks out there, don't ask complicated questions. I want to answer as many as I can, but don't ask me how to cure all your family problems here on now. You'd have to do this. You'd have to get me for a private session to do that. So keep your questions really blunt and to the point. Don't waste any words. Keep it short. So let's go.
Okay, so the first person is Evelyn. If you will unmute, I'm going to ask you to unmute there and just ask Raymond your question.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Hi, thanks for all this, by the way. I just want to know if you could do a demonstration for, I believe it was the archetypes for us beginners.
I'm having trouble understanding you.
Oh, let me
You
talk.
asking me to clear something, but I missed what it was.
Oh, if you could do a demonstration for the person's level of consciousness or archetypes.
Well, it's going to be real short. I would
That's fine.
suggest, and I don't know how to tell you to find this. I've got it in my email somewhere, but I don't know where. But look at a chart of level of consciousness from David Hogan's book called Power versus Force, and it runs from 0 to 1,000. I'm just going to give you a few highlights. 750 and up is enlightenment. I believe it's 600 in peace, or 640 is peace, 500 is love. Then it drops down to 200 is courage. 175 is pride, on down, anger 75. Oh, let's see, guilt is 30 and shame is 20 right at the bottom. Now, when I'm doing body intelligence classes, I just ask this question to them. I want you folks to dowser this. What percentage of prostate cancer, uterine cancer, and breast cancer is caused by shame? They'll usually get 80 to 100% when they douse. So shame is right at the bottom of the totem pole. However, and fear is not too far above. I think fear was 75, and then guilt was 30. Okay, but do you know of any organizations that use fear, shame, and guilt to control the membership? I asked that question in class, and everybody laughs. Of course they do. And I'm saying, well, you've just told me that shame creates these diseases. So why would you bother to listen to anybody that wants you to be fearful, guilty, or ashamed? So see, I'm in the empowerment business. I'm not in the guru business. I'm in empowering people. Even though I'm kind of blunt at it, it's more effective that way. So that's Hawkins scale. Now, what you can do, you can ask what level of consciousness it is such and such a person. And depending on your doubting accuracy, you will get a right answer or you won't. But Hawkins said back in 95, when he wrote the book, that's 26 years ago, that 85% of the population was below 200 back then. And he said you had to be over 200 to even make much of a difference in life. So would I do business with somebody of low consciousness? No, not at all. I sure wouldn't buy a used car from them. So that's a brief answer to how to use it. You just use your numerical scale on your chart. I got it right here. I'll put it up here. We can see it. I hope. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I hope you see that there. Use that chart and level of consciousness, like one right here would be 100, 200, 300, down to 1,000. That's a very simple explanation. Okay, who's next?
Okay, Teresa, do you have a question from the chat? I guess not. So why don't we go to Alita? Evelyn, thank you for your question. Alita, you'll need to unmute.
Yeah, hi Raymond, thanks for this. This is great. I'm just wondering how to get my kids started with this. Got some pointers on getting kids started with dowsing.
No, wait a minute. You how to get your kids started?
Yeah, how to get my kids started.
All right, how old?
They're 7, 10, and
Oh,
18.
well, simply give them a pendulum. I have a granddaughter 3. I have another one that's 7. And every time they came to see me, I've got these bullet pendulums laying on the desk. They always pick them up and start swinging. They have done that since they were a year old. And I just encourage them. And yeah, get used to it. And I'll say, this is a yes, this is a no. And I'm starting to tell them a little bit about what I do. They haven't really figured out what I do yet. So I'm starting to tell them a little bit. Now, April was a different story. April grew up with me 24 hours a day. So she caught on when she was a little bitty kid. I'll tell you the story. One day, she liked Dr. Pepper soft drink. So she asked if she could have one. I said, now, April, I've already checked the effect of that upon your body, and it's 65 below 0. That means it's not good for you. So I was one of the first things I did was told her to check the value of food on her body. It was either good for her or it wasn't. And I said, if you can raise it to a plus 70, I will give it to you. So here's my pendulum. Here's a can of Dr. Pepper. Don't open it yet. You gotta win it. You gotta work for it. So you go over there and you raise the vibration of this, and I'll come and bring it back to me and I'll test it. It depends on whether you get it or not. Well, she brought it back to me and she already had it to 100. And I said, a deal's a deal. Here it is. So a few days later, she was eating a chocolate chip cookie. And I said, April, I didn't see you raise the energy of that cookie. She said, I don't have to. Why? I programmed myself that anything that I like to eat or drink is automatically good for me. I have never been able to prove her wrong. So you got to use some rewards on training kids to do that, but just give them the very basics. To you and away from you is a yes, right to left is a no, clockwise circle, you are increasing something, counterclockwise circle, you're decreasing it. So then you tell them, have them cleaning up the classroom. Kids catch on fast with this stuff. And have them, if you got sad kids in class, try to cheer them up and make them happy. Why? You take away sad archetypes. You take away doom and gloom and give them sunshine. I mean, you can be very creative with this kind of stuff. So yeah, teach him to do this. And the real truth is he can change the whole school. Then you're going to have real confidence. Okay, who's next?
Teresa.
Okay, I can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to let people in the chat know that I am unable to scroll back. So as questions are coming in, I can only see the latest ones. So you may need to re-enter some of your questions. And so let's see, one of the things people were interested in was what kind of terminology do you use? And you kind of just gave that answer about clearing things up or depossessing something. What words do you use with ideas? Do you take out greed or?
It depends on what, I mean, to clear up a place is going to take too long to explain it. You'd be better off getting a video saying, change energy, change your life. Because I go through about probably 50 minutes of that with great detail on it, which we don't have time to do here. And in that includes an exorcism, which is no big deal, really. So to try to give you words for everything I do, it's just going to take too long here to do it.
Okay, well, let's. Okay, so the next question is from Ronald. So Ronald, why don't you go ahead and unmute yourself?
Yeah, Raymond, this question I have is in reference to using the pendulum. I've heard that it's not good to use a chain, but you've been using the chain forever.
Wait a minute, Ron. Lift your face up a little bit so I can see your lips. I know who you are, but I can't see your lips and I don't understand you. So there you go. Okay. Now, give me that last again, please.
All right. I've heard that it's not good to use a chain on the pendulum. Now, I know that I've taken your classes 2 times, and I know that in your class, and you've been using the chain forever. So I don't see anything wrong with you from using the chain.
Okay, Ron, I'm having a little trouble understanding one word here. It's not a good idea to use something and a pendulum, but I'm missing that word.
No, I
So-
said in reference to using your pendulum with your bullet, has a chain on it, right?
Has a chain on it? Yes, sir, right here it is.
Right. Now, I have heard otherwise that that it isn't good to use a chain. You're better to use a string.
I don't believe it
I hear you.
at all. No, people are all kind of making up goofy stuff. I've been using this thing like this for years.
I know.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Be careful who you listen to. Most people don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Okay.
All right, who's next?
Okay, Teresa, do you have a question?
One more thing. In the CD change your energy, change your life. When you're doing it for people at the end of the program, and you're doing things for people, we just got to put our intention in, and that's it.
Intent is the key word to everything you do.
Absolutely.
Real truth is you don't need a pendulum. What you need is a strong mind and strong intent. If you got that, a pendulum is just a tool. It tells you how long to focus on something. I focus on something as long as it's spinning. When it stops spinning, okay, that's over. Focus on something else. So, okay,
Good.
thank you for the question, but we got to get another one here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So this is Teresa. I just want to tell people that a great time-saving thing that Raymond told us is that you can also program your pendulum to work faster so that you can, he said, I think that his pendulum doesn't generally spin longer than 10 seconds.
Well, yeah, let me tell you what I did on that.
Okay.
Learning to dial did not come easy for me. Very few things in life ever came easy for me. I've had to work hard for everything I ever got. So after 3 years of practicing, my pendulum wouldn't move more than 1/4 of an inch. So I was with Walt Woods one day out of Ozark Research, and Walt's pendulum was going like this. And I'm thinking, okay, he can do it and I can't. So we got to fix this. So I just pulled out my bullet pendulum. I said, hey, I want you to work like Walt's. It's done it ever since. And then I've had people in class that tell their pendulum to work like mine, and it does. So I hope it will work for all the rest of you folks out there. All I can say is it worked for me.
Okay, thank you, Raymond. And so Zuli, if you'll unmute, you're up next.
Yes, hello. Thank you so very much. Hi, Raymond. I just want to thank you for the opportunity and the Tucson Dowsers meeting for the opportunity to hear you. And my question to you, Raymond, again, is about the depossession energy. I remember a long time ago
now,
your conversation,
conversation
on Coast to Coast. So it's just a brief.
You better if I could see you.
Oh, okay. My camera isn't working. I'm so sorry. I've been having computer problems.
Malfunctioning camera. Okay, just speak just a little slower and we'll be fine. Now you want to ask about a depossession, so go ahead, please.
Yes, I remember. Can you hear me now? I put the mic closer to my voice.
Better, yes, ma'am. Yes,
Oh, I'm
yes,
sorry
not
about that before. Okay, so the question is, when I remember on Coast to Coast a long time ago when you were on the show about when you did depossessions, and one time you had a discarnate a spirit that attached to you when you did that. How were you able to depossess yourself again when you're doing that energy work and you're trying to depossess the example that you used, a politician's office or your environment?
this is a long story, and your question is not quite accurate. I did
Okay.
not get that. I got badly influenced. There's a
Oh,
difference. And I got it in a shaman training school. And not only did I get it, everybody's life in there got messed up. And I actually, it's just a long story. So the bottom line is I was not technically possessed. I was just in the wrong place with too many spooks that followed me home, I guess, but they weren't in my body. And it goes back to Sandy Mack and Eugene Murray that at Ozark Research in 1995, I believe it was, or 96, I guess it was, that helped me get rid of them, or get whatever it was. Anyway, my life changed overnight. So that was when I decided, hey, there's really something to this. And like I say, the story is too long, but that's really what got me on the track of working with entities, because I figured, okay, if it works with me, then I can probably learn and I can help other people. And I kind of set a goal that day that I was going to use this to help as many people as I could. And to date, I have no idea how many thousands of people we may have helped. So that was a really good thing to learn. I just happened to be at the right place at the right time, and those people were kind to me and taught me a little bit about how to do it. And then I was friends with Walt Woods, and I learned a little bit more about it. And then I just took it on almost as a career. So could a person depossess themselves? I honestly don't ever recall hearing a case like that. I don't want to say it can't be done, because it probably can, but I don't ever recall a case like that. Okay, who's next?
oh, thank you for the clarification, and I will look into your material. And of course, thank you for the reminder. Thank you so very much for today. Have a good day.
Thanks, Julie. So Teresa, do
Hey,
you
hi.
have a question?
Yes, we've got a question on seeing if it can help clear dyslexia. Dyslexia, the reading.
I had absolutely no success at all with something like that. So I just need to be real blunt, upfront, honest. All I would do would be wasting the person's time. However, let me give you one hint that might possibly be work. I have found that if a person's brain is spinning counterclockwise instead of clockwise, they have mental problems. That's one of the more recent things I've done. That's one of the things I do in my clearing every morning. You get people's brains spinning in the proper direction. And this can happen to some very good and very intelligent people. So you might want to check the person out. And if the brain is not spinning clockwise, get it spinning that way. And
So-
I've had success with other things, but there's a certain number of ailments that I've just never had any success at all with.
I have a follow-up to that, Raymond. Do you think the direction would be the same in the Southern Hemisphere? You know what I'm saying?
It could be. I don't know enough to really make comments on it. And when I don't know what I'm talking about, it's best just to keep quiet.
So we would douse that. We would douse to see
Yeah, I would just
what direction.
ask the question. Yeah, that was the question. So I also saw someone in the chat saying that it might be good to chat with Raymond directly. He is not taking questions off the chat, so they're coming through us through the everyone section. So okay.
Yeah. Okay. The next person is Jackie Ladybug with Ladybug Wellness. There you are.
Thank you. Hi, Raymond. Thank you so much for being here. I've been following Tucson Dowsers ever since last year. Yeah. Okay, my question, you had a story about a young lady who had a very bad reputation and a whole lot of bad relationships, and you balanced tones. Can you explain that?
Well, I guess there's been several dozen that would fit that description. So can I explain it? No. Can I do it? Yes.
Okay.
There's a lot of things I do that I can't explain. And all I would do is just say, I want to balance the tones of their body.
Okay, that's what
And that was it. I mean,
Okay.
that was it. I have no idea who you're talking about. So.
It was just a story from quite a few years ago. I've always been curious.
Well, there's a few thousand people in my foggy memory back there, and I might be able to pick them out. I might not. This one I don't have a clue.
Thank you so much for
Okay.
the monthly clearing. That is wonderful. And also just a personal thing, if you haven't talked to Amy Jo this past week, please get a hold of her. She's got some important information to share with you.
Oh, with me?
Yes. So
Everybody.
Amy Jo
Oh,
Ellis.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Also, Jackie, Raymond has his email right up there on the screen. And if you could email that information to him directly,
Yes, I can do that.
then it'll be in writing. He didn't have to remember that.
All
Okay.
right. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Teresa, do you have another question?
I do not. There is not another
Okay, so
question
I have
on the chat
one.
that I
So
can see.
somebody asked, Jack from Arizona, Raymond, Jack from Arizona asked if you could please talk about using or working with the spirit of love.
Yeah, I'll be glad to. As a matter of fact, I wrote about that in my October newsletter that just came out last week. If you don't have it, right, man, I'll send you a copy of it. But go ahead and you can go to RaymondGraceFoundation.org and sign up and get it. It's free. I write one a month, and they're fairly short and to the point, but feel free to sign up for them. Now, what I'm finding is, and I have to say I don't know why, is that body parts are losing love. And this is happening to some really good people. In one case, someone's leg was hurting. I checked it out. Well, there's no love in your leg. I simply invited in the spirit of love and the pain left. Now, it's not always that simple. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But what is causing the love to leave human bodies? I do not know, but it is. So you really need to check yourself every day. But what I would suggest you do is every morning when you wake up, give thanks for what you want. I tell people, don't ask for anything. When you ask for it, you're saying you don't have it. If you give thanks for it, you're saying you do have it. So give thanks for what you have and what would you like to have. So you can give thanks for the spirit of love. Don't be bashful about thanking the spirit of prosperity. As some people have well, it's just because of the way they've been trained, probably religiously, that they think there's something wrong with it. But I'm a product of these Appalachian Mountains here, and there was one thing that we were known for more than anything else was poverty, and I never saw it solve anybody's problems. I've seen prosperity solve problems, so I'm not a very good fan of this impoverished attitude. So I give thanks for helping you folks have good drinking water, just for the ability to help you have it. I give thanks for being able to help people. I raise a garden, several gardens. I give thanks for the rain, the nature spirits. I really spend a lot of time throughout the day just being thankful for things. And it works. It changes your life. You see, you're affected by what you hear, whether you believe it or not, and you're affected by what other people say. And a lot of folks are their own worst enemy. They are always complaining about their illness. Well, I don't know of anybody that ever got well complaining about it. So you got to focus on what you want instead of what you don't want. But there's three words that an awful lot of my work is based on, and I did not originate these. I think Thomas Edison is given the credit for it. If he didn't say it, he should have, but it's energy follows thought. So just think about that whenever you're thinking about negative thoughts and say, hey, wait a minute, I'm putting energy into what I don't want. And you got to train yourself to get out of that habit and giving thanks every morning for what you have or what you want, and even for somebody else. I do my best to help other people in as many ways as I can, because another thing, if you have any jealousy in your body, it's probably things are not going to work for you. So I really like to help people become winners, because winners are always happier than losers are. So there's such a thing as loser archetypes. You might want to check yourself to see if you have any. So I'm just throwing out some ideas that I use probably every day in one form or another. So I hope I answered that question.
Thank you. Do you have any resources? I know you were talking about some books that you use for the scale and all that. Any resources people can look up archetypes? Is there any particular one?
No, I
you
don't.
use?
Actually, I never read any books. So no, I don't have anything like that.
Okay.
An archetype is a trait or a characteristic that affects a person's behavior, and they may be an unlimited number of them. And there's such a thing as poor me archetypes. And I grew up around a lot of people who had those. So one of the best things you can do is check out yourself and see how many flaws you have that need to be eliminated. And I've come up with a way to do this, but it takes a while, so I can't do it here. But I found a way that I can tell people what they believe, that they don't even know they believe sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And I simply check their body to see what it believes. And they get some surprises sometimes. So it's been a very valuable tool when people are having bad luck. I ask the question like, well, how much do you believe you deserve to suffer? You'd be surprised the number of people have a belief system that they deserve to suffer. I was amazed at how many I found like that. And I hardly ever find anybody that has a total belief system of their entire body that they deserve to be healthy. I find a few, but they're in the minority. So I haven't turned over all the rocks yet to find the knowledge under them, but I've turned over a lot of them. And everything I learn, I try to share it with people, usually in my classes or maybe in a film, to show people this is what you can do for yourself. And again, the whole goal is empowering people.
That's excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Raymond. The next person with the question is Tamara Steer, I think. Tamara, if you can unmute yourself there.
Sure.
There you go.
No, thank you. I have a question. What is the best way to increase your relationship or your rapport with this, with the nature spirits, like the spirit of water?
Well, I would say thanking them every day. I mean, I've even thanked the trees. I thank the tomato plants for producing. It's gratitude. Gratitude, a matter of fact, I was thinking about doing a newsletter this month on gratitude, being Thanksgiving. So I have found that gratitude, it just seems to work. I set a goal to clean up water, and I think the reason I can do it around the world is simply because water has intelligence. Everything does. Every plant in the garden has intelligence. Every tree in the forest, it knows when to put out leaves. It knows when to bloom. Apple trees know when to bear fruit. I mean, you look at nature, nature is full of intelligence. Everything is. And your attitude towards nature is probably going to help you more than anything else will. And all I do, I can't describe nature spirits, but if they've left a piece of land for whatever reason, and they will normally leave wherever an earthquake is going to occur, I can usually invite them back. And you say, how do you do that? With intent. You ask me, how do I change the taste of water from here to Australia? With intent. How do I lower crime rate in a school? With intent. Intent is the one word of how you do everything. So all this is much more simpler than you think. Well, there's some things to explain does take a little bit of time, which is why I had to pass up on a few things. But the bottom line is focus with your brain in an alpha frequency and focus your intent. and make a picture of what you want. The brain thinks in pictures better than words. So you can make a picture of what you want, and you'll probably get better success than you will using words.
Great, thank you.
That's the best thing I know to tell you. Okay, thanks for your question.
Thanks, Tamara. Okay, Raymond, we need to take a quick break so Teresa can close the meeting because we made it like 3 o'clock already here. So it's what, 6
Wow.
o'clock where you're at. And but if everybody will just stay put and keep your hands up and keep the questions coming in the chat. Raymond's agreed to stay for a little bit. Do you have a time limit for us, Raymond, or?
Not really, but we don't want to drag it out too far.
Okay, okay. And thank you. We really appreciate that. And so Teresa, if you want to go ahead and just close out the official meeting, and then we'll come back for the bonus
Okay.
Q&A.
Okay, so I want to thank all of you for being here today. And if you appreciate what Tucson Dowsers has brought to you today, I'm going to request that you go to our website and make a donation. It's under donation and it is tax deductible. It's tucsondowsers.net. And or you could mail us a check and it would be made out to ASD. And you could mail it to care of Carol Dickman, 2341 North Chrysler, like the car, Tucson, Arizona, 85716. And they want to invite you all back for our December meeting, which will be on the 4th, and it will be featuring Richard Feather Anderson. And he will be speaking on evolving with the help of labyrinths, dowsing, and metaphysics. And it is to help shift ourselves and humanity into a heart-centered consciousness. And I've heard this presentation, and it is excellent. There's something else, and I can't remember. Raymond, we have had people wondering how they can schedule a private session with you, and also when you will be offering classes.
Okay. First off, let me talk about the classes. I will probably offer a class locally in the spring. I won't say exactly what time because I'm watching to see if the world is ever going to regain any sanity. If it doesn't, I may not offer any classes again ever. I had planned to do online classes. I just haven't quite got it together. We have literally been overwhelmed with requests, working with people, and I just haven't had time to do it. But I do plan. I can't give you a date on it. We might do a class April, possibly May. That will be on my website when we do decide, and it will be also in my newsletter. So it's all depends on how the world goes. We're in a very uncertain time, and I don't want to promise anybody anything, have them buy a plane ticket or something like that, and then it not get here or something. So I'm not going to do it until things are relatively stable and people can get here and get back home safe. As far as private sessions, simply write me, give me with your phone number, your location, and what time you are normally available. What I do my best to do is work at your convenience. Now, I can't always do it, but I'll do it if I can. I operate a small farm, and in the winter, I don't have a whole lot of work to do outside. So this is a good time of year for me to do this from now through March, probably. Come June, July, and August, I just don't have time to do much at all online. So, but anyway, state your problem very briefly, like one sentence. Don't need a long paragraph. If you send me something 2 pages long, I'll hit the delete button because I know I won't want to talk to you. And I mean that. So keep it blunt, to the point. If it's something I think I can help you with, I will write you back and ask you, probably give you my Skype name and set up a Skype with you. The reason I use Skype, or if you know how to send a Zoom link to me, I don't know how to send one to you. It's because I understand people if I can see them talking. It's just so much easier for me. So then we'll try to set it up. If it's something that I know good and well I can't help you with, I will just tell you I can't help you. It's not fair to take your money. I don't do that. I treat people very fair. And the best way I know to do it is if you can't help them, just tell them so right up front. So and if everybody writes me at once, I will just have to put a red flag on them, I guess. I learned how to do that. And then I'll get to you as I can. And that's the folks in foreign countries. I do Skype sessions in Australia, but there's a big time difference there. So that's not really convenient for you or me, either one, but I can do them in Europe. But then again, of course, I can do them in the US. And whenever you write me, like I said, don't need your life story, just about one sentence. What do you hope I can do for you? And if I can, we'll make arrangements and I'll do whatever I can. I won't send you a bill. You pay me what you think it's worth. Nobody can ever say I cheated. They may not like the way I do things, but that don't make much difference. But I don't want anybody to ever say that I take advantage of. That's why if I can't help you, I'm going to tell you right up front. So that's how to do it. You got my email address, and that's really all you need. And if you ever manage to get my phone number, don't ever give it to anybody.
All right. Well, thank you. I also wanted to remind people about our t-shirts, which we're having for sale, that you can contact us on our email at tucsondowsers@gmail.com. And again, do consider becoming a member of Tucson Dowsers. All right, I think that's it, unless you guys, Carol or Kathleen, can think of anything I forgot to mention. I hope to see you all here on December 4th.
Yeah, December 4th. When you do we're using the same button for everything on our website. So the donate button is what you use if you want to become a member. It's $40 individual, $50 for family. Is that right?
Yes.
And this, put a note in that there's a little comment section in PayPal. You can say this is for a membership. If you want to sponsor one of our meetings, that's $50, and we'll give you a shout out. So you want to mention that again, Teresa, a shout out at the meeting. And we really appreciate that.
And today's meeting,
really good support for that. If you want to buy a t-shirt, use the same button. It's $20 plus how much is shipping right now? 8
for one.
5?
I prefer actually. You're right now. I prefer actually that people email us, and we'll direct them that way, because depending on how many shirts they order, we may need to
shipping changes. Okay, so
shipping.
Email us.
But right now, for one shirt, it's like $5. Yeah.
Yeah, tucsondowsers@gmail.com to buy a shirt. And what were you saying before? That's what I wanted to say.
Okay, the membership is yearly, and if you sign up now, it'll be good through December of 2022.
Yeah, so you get a couple extra months, and you'll have access to all the recordings. At some point, right now we have all the recordings in the email newsletter. So really, you want to sign up for the newsletter. That's at tucsondowsers.net. Join our email list. We only send out 4 emails a month maximum. So we're not going to overwhelm your inbox. But at some point, we're going to just start providing like 3 or 4 of the latest recordings, and we're going to archive our collection of recordings, and then those will be available to our members. So it's kind of a perk there. And that's it, I think, right, Teresa? And then next December, our next one is December
4th.
Richard Feather Anderson.
December
and then
4th.
We're going to have our annual horoscope astrologer giving a reading for 2022 in January. So that'll be fun. And okay, so we're going to close the meeting now and continue with our Q&A. Is that good?
Thank you all. Thanks for coming.
Thank you all. Yeah, for folks who can't stay for the Q&A. Okay, so the next person who is in line for the Q&A is Zoom user with your hand up. So if you're a Zoom user and your hand is up, I'm going to ask you to unmute. So if you get the ask to unmute.
Hi, I've got my hand up.
Okay, Zoom user. Excellent. Can you ask your question to Raymond?
Yes, let me see if I can put my my Zoom camera on. I can't find it right. Ah, there it is. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, I'm over in the corner over here. Hi, Raymond.
So,
Raymond,
what's your question?
it's a two-parter, but it makes sense, I think. You have charged water for some of your meetings, and I didn't know if you wanted to do that for people here today. And that was one of my questions, because I think it's such a wonderful experience to run to your, what do you call it, your kitchen faucet and the.
No, just hit the bottom line. What was the question?
Okay, the bottom line is, I don't know if I heard this correctly in one of your interviews, but did you say put a project in the water to help energize the project even more, to send it out?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay. What did you say? Put the project in front of the water?
I'm not really understanding your question. What?
I understand what she's talking about, Raymond. You were saying when playing your video, you have a video that you said you gave to ORI that is on YouTube, where you explain how to do a few things.
Yes,
and one of the things you said is when they're playing the video on the TV or on their phone or whatever it is, that they can put their intention, how they want to direct that energy, their picture or written down in front of whatever they're playing on.
Yeah, yes, that's true. Okay, so I said that. So what's the other question about it?
Well, I think she didn't understand that part.
Okay,
so the part is,
well.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
so any other question?
Real well.
Okay.
So I just wanted him to go over kind of the steps on how to do this. That's all. I wanted just a couple of clear steps to put a project that you're working on, that you want to put in front of the water or whatever.
It's not about water. It's not about water at all. He said he has a video
This conference isn't going anywhere.
that is on YouTube that he gave to the Ozark Research Institute.
Okay.
If you are playing that video, you put the project in front of wherever you're playing the video.
Okay.
If you're playing on your TV, you put it in front of the TV. If it's on your phone, you put it in front of your phone, and it will help direct the energy. You don't have to do that. You can do it with intention, but if it helps you, you can use written down or a picture or something else.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thing to do, video, it explains it. Okay, next question.
Okay. And Ronald, you're up. If you'll unmute.
The only thing I wanted to say, Raymond, is I always put in for your newsletter, but for some reason I don't get it.
I have no idea why.
Send
me an email.
I didn't even know you put out another one just recently.
All right. Just send me an email saying this. I will send it to April and ask her to add your address onto it for next month.
All right, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Simplest thing to do. Okay, who's next?
Okay, and for everybody, just to let you know, always check your spam folders, because anytime email goes out, even when we send ours out, some of your emails, the systems that you use will automatically send a group email to your spam folder. So if you're not getting something you think you should be getting, always check there, please.
I do check it.
Okay, thanks, Ron. Okay, next is Sue Whitaker.
Hi, Raymond. I hear everybody asking how to. Can you talk a little bit about your water energizing video that I have used so that others can see how it can be used?
The real truth is, Sue, you can do a better job than I can. I'm glad to see you. I didn't know you were on there today. I want you to tell them what you did with it. That's going to sound a heck of a lot better than me telling them.
Well, I love Raymond. As you can tell, I love him. And you guys are listening to one of the best dowsers in the world. And Salem water, I live in Salem, Oregon. Their water was bad. And I had seen that he had, at first he had just an audio, and now he has a DVD, which is even better. And with intent, I played that to clear the water. The water had been bad. There's blue algae bloom. It had been bad for months. And they said in July that we wouldn't have water to drink or shower in until October. And I said, you know what? Raymond would do something better. So you know what I asked myself is, what would Raymond do? Well, Raymond would clear the water. And so I got his little audio, I played it, and you know what? I didn't trust myself. So I thought once wasn't enough. So I did it 3 times. And it takes water 3 days to get down from the lake that was bad to Salem. And in 3 days, they announced the water was clear. They don't know what happened. And we didn't have to wait till October. But you know what? If you don't trust yourself or you don't know what to say right now, buy Raymond's DVDs and follow what he does. That's what I did.
And you won.
I won.
I'm proud of you. See, I've told your story a lot of times when you weren't around. It's on here, it's a whole lot better than you tell it. So
well,
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so next, Rosa from Ireland. Welcome.
Hi, Kathleen. Good evening. Evening here, at least. And it's great to be on this great meeting and an anniversary, and congratulations. My question to Raymond and maybe to everybody here, how can we use this opportunity with so many participants and maybe can we do something together now this evening with such a large group of us and maybe increase our energy together for some good, i.e. like maybe increase our confidence in helping other people as dowsers or helping ourselves increase our dowsing ability to help others. It seems to me like it would be a missed opportunity, not for all of us to be able to maybe spend a couple of minutes to use all this energy that we have together. Like Raymond says, with so much of us here, it should be, wow, magnified. Is that something to consider maybe?
Well, I don't do that. What I did for the whole group, I did a mass clearing on you before this program ever started today.
Yeah, thank you.
I do not work in groups. Why? It's too complicated. You've always got somebody raising a hand saying, why don't you do it this way? I don't suppose you being from Ireland, matter of fact, my family came from Ireland. I'm part Irish. So actually, I am the 22nd great grandson of Robert the Bruce, the King of Scotland. So anyway, my family's been kind of rough for a long time. But anyway, in America, when people want to, let's get together and do this as a group. I don't want to offend anybody, but I've got a favorite saying. I say, do you know who Tom Horn was? And of course they don't, but there was a movie made about him. So I explained to him, he was a hit man for the Wyoming Cattle Company during the Range Wars of 1870. This is a quote from Tom Horn. I work alone. I'm damn good at it.
Okay, great. I'll take that one.
Work alone. I will occasionally work. I have one friend in Europe, a very famous person in Europe. That I think very highly of. I have another friend in California. Both of them are female. I have another friend that come by yesterday, is Jeff Jones, who is one of the most unusual people I've ever met. He's the one that's lived 24 years now, just on water alone. These are about the only 3 people I work with on big projects, and I won't work with them all together. I'll work with them one at a time. I find if you get too many people, it scatters the energy. Okay. So I just don't do it.
It's good to know. Well, great. Thanks. I learned something new this evening, and I hope to be hounding you with 101 more questions, but thanks again for this evening. It's been very informative, and maybe we can bring you over sometime and share a bit of your Irish ancestors with us then.
I tell you what, if you, I'll be glad to talk to you by Skype one day, but forget about bringing me to Ireland. I swore off flying 16 years ago when they found bullets in my backpack in an airplane in California. And those people out there didn't seem to like white boys in cowboy hats. So I said, you'll never make another cent off me because I'll never get on an airplane again. So I am basically a hermit living here in the Appalachian Mountains. I'm so far back in the mountains, the Jehovah's Witnesses can't even find me. So, but I'll be glad to talk to you one day on Skype if you want to write to me.
Grand, so we'll be doing that instead then. Damn sight cheaper as well. All the best.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, who's next? I think they left us alone. Maybe we ran everybody
Kathleen?
off.
No, I don't. Kathleen froze. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I actually don't know who the next person up is because I
Jackie
don't have that
Burfield.
screen. Jackie. Okay. Jackie,
Hi.
please
Hi,
unmute yourself
Raymond.
and ask your question.
Hi, Raymond. Do you have any plans to make the Flower of Life available for sale again?
I do not know. The parts have been in a shop in Canada for probably 2 to 3 years, and they have not been able to hire anybody to put them together. So I do not know when or if I will ever have any more. That's the only honest answer I can give you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, who's next?
Tamara Steer.
Go ahead, please.
Hello. Hello again. Is there a good method or a method you prefer to help find missing people? At least the ones that want to be found?
Well, I have done that, but I have not done a lot of it. You see, we get good at what we do a lot of every day. And chasing ghosts out of houses and cleaning up place and getting rid of dangerous people is what I do every day. Finding a lost person maybe twice a year. What I'll do though, the last one I did successfully was in Hawaii, if I remember correctly, but the location doesn't really matter that much. A person's dad had, I don't know, mental deficiency. He would just not know where he was. And he wandered off and got lost. And I said, okay, I am going to take the place where you are now standing and put it in the center of my dowsing chart. And I'm going to ask where your dad is in relation to where you're standing right now. And I think he was due south. And I said, about a mile. Well, that's exactly where they found him. Now, I've had good luck a few times, but I haven't had luck all the time on that. But here again, I just don't do much about it. But that's what I would suggest. Is pick a landmark. It could be the person's home. Like if it's a stray dog. Okay, pick the dog's home. I did this one night. A friend called, his bird dog was gone. And I put his house in the center, and I said, which way is a bird dog from my house? It swung northeast. I said, okay, more than a mile, no. More than a quarter of a mile, yes. Half mile, yes. 3/4 mile, no. I said, your dog is 3/4 of a mile due northeast. That's where the dog was. So that's the only, there's not any point in me talking any longer than that because that's really about all I know.
Okay. No, that sounds great. I can see that on the chart. Thank you.
I have helped police find dangerous people a few times, but not quite to that accuracy because the dangerous person was on the move.
Okay.
But I managed to get them caught though.
Okay. Yeah, I can see it working somewhat similar if the person's moving.
Yeah, I'll give you one more story here. About 3-4 years ago, there were a couple of fellows that had killed somebody I don't remember the details. So the captain of the sheriff's department was asking me if I could help him. So what I did, I took the county courthouse and put it in the center of the chart. That was the landmark. And which way are they? And it swung east. East would have been to the 3 o'clock position. And I said, how far away? And I had to go through like more than 100 miles. Yes, it was 400 miles. I said, they're in Virginia Beach. I put a flashing blue light on top of their head. They caught them 2 days later in Virginia Beach.
That's awesome. I like that. You could use it for a missing person, put a flashing light on wherever they're at, and maybe that will draw someone in.
Flashing light helps tremendously. It's a symbolic way of attracting attention.
Yeah, I like that. No, thank you. I would like to do that. And so this helps tremendously.
Okay, well, I'm glad to help you.
Thank you. So the next question is from Marion.
Yes,
And
hi Raymond, hi group. I'm calling up from Canada, Northern Canada. And just like the speaker before me, Raymond, do you have a suggestion as to how to approach the issue of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls up here in Canada? We have a highway that we call it the Highway of Tears, and it stretches from one coast, the west coast, all the way to the pretty much the east of Canada, the entire nation, where a lot of women and children have gone missing and just vanished. Not a lot of body recoveries. So my question is, do you have suggestions how to douse for that issue in terms of maybe helping the families cope? And also, how would I integrate more like your philosophy around love and Thanksgiving? And I don't know if forgiveness or something goes too far, but I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that as a dowser.
You asked about 3 questions there, so let me take the first one.
Okay.
The first thing that I would do on that is depossess the people that's doing the killing. Okay, that's the number one way to depower an evil person is to depossess them. You do not need their permission. You just need to do it. Now, I would be willing to do a short session with you to see what I could do to help this, because I at one time I was friends with quite a few Indian people in Canada. I used to travel up there a lot. Been to most every Canadian province, not all, most of them. I had a lot of friends all across Canada, from Nova Scotia to British Columbia and the territories, all through there. I've made friends with a lot of Canadian people and made friends with Indian people up there. So yes, I would be glad to talk to you. You send me an email and let's you and me just work on this by ourselves. And because it's going to take a while. But I will not only give you hints, I will do my best to do it for you. When I have no idea what we're going to get into. And that's another reason, try not to do things in front of an audience, because you don't really know what kind of dirt you're going to dig up when you start into stuff like this. So let's you and me do this on our own, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, what's next?
Okay, so Raymond, I think what we'll do, we have 2 people with hands up, and we'll call those the last 2 questions for you.
That's fine.
And then we'll end the meeting, the bonus Q&A. So the next up is Jason Light. If you'll unmute yourself, please. Sorry, I think I messed you up, Jason. Try that one more time. There you go.
Hi, Raymond. Good to talk to you.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you so much for devoting your time and energy to Tucson Dowsers. We are very grateful to have someone of your wisdom and positive high energy at this meeting. So here's my question. It's a health question. For about the past 20 years, I've been obese. I've got like 100 pounds of extra weight, and I'm now 60 years old. And if I don't tackle this problem and face it straight on, in the future, I'm going to have real health concerns like heart attack and stroke and this kind of thing. So the question is, how can a dowser, or what kind of energy can I tap into to release and let go of 100 pounds of excess fat?
Well, I can partially answer your question because I did that to myself last year, and I dropped 30 pounds in 1 month, in the month of November last year. I was a construction worker and I was really skinny. Well, once I became a traveling lecturer, life got easy. I ate in restaurants instead of out of a lunch bucket, and I gained about 35 pounds. I went from about 140 to 175, somewhere around that. So I kept thinking, I've got to do something about this. But that's all I did was think about it. I didn't do anything about it. So a year ago, just about this time of year, I remember it was November, I said, okay, this stuff's going to come to a screeching halt. I am going to get rid of this, and I'm going to get back down to under 150 pounds. I did it. I'm 145 pounds right now. I still got 5 pounds to go. So I'm going to tell you how I did it. Nancy's a good cook. I have a farm helper working for me 2 or 3 days a week. We always feed him. He's a great big guy. He's like 270 pounds, and he eats a lot. And I'd already eat quite a bit for a long time. And I got to thinking, if I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm going to keep getting what I'm getting. So I would sit down to eat. I would take out smaller portions. And as soon as I ate and cleaned my plate, I'd get up and leave the kitchen because I knew if I sat there, I was going to go back and get more. So I just get up and walk out. I said, you go ahead and eat all you want to, but that's all I'm going to eat. And I started thinking, how little can I get by on food? How much can, or how little can I get by with and not get hungry? I stopped eating big meals at night. I eat a pretty decent breakfast, moderate lunch, maybe, and hardly eat anything at night. A little bit, but not much. I also stopped eating white bread. I fry my own cornbread. I do a lot of my own cooking. I ate real simple. And I also am very active too. To be as old as I am, and you're how much, 60 what?
I'm 60.
You're 60?
Yep.
I'm 17 years older than you are. And I'm still climbing mountains, driving a tractor, cutting timber, running chainsaws. I'm working like I worked 40 years ago.
Yeah, but you live on a farm, you know, me and a lot of other people, we live in the city, but that's okay.
It's tougher. It's tougher for people to live in the city. You're going to see, I've got stuff that needs to be done. So I get out there and work. You don't. So you're going to have to force yourself to get out and go do something. And it's probably going to be walking. And the more you walk, the better off you are. Now, where I live, nothing is flat. Everything's either up or downhill. So my lifestyle and yours is totally different. So, but what I would suggest you do is set a goal and weigh yourself every day and like, see if you can lose a pound a day. And don't try to lose it all at once. Pay attention to your diet. I always eat very, very simple. I eat like a pauper, really. I grow most of my own food. Do not eat or drink junk food. I do not drink beer or any alcohol. I take good care of my body. And I work harder than anybody I know. So just start paying attention. I can't give you a recipe or anything, but just start paying attention to what you eat. But eliminate white bread. I honestly think that helped me more than any other one thing I did. Now,
okay, great.
I like bread, so I eat cornbread, and I fix it myself with lots of onions, hot peppers, and garlic in it. And that's it. And just start eating less, exercising more. That's the bottom line. I don't know of any magic pill that's going to do it.
Okay, great. Thank you. And one just quick question. How would I get in touch with Jeff Jones, who only drinks water? How do I find him?
You can't. I don't ever let anybody find Jeff Jones.
Well, how does he survive on just drinking water?
Because he believes he can. Actually, Jeff Jones came by here yesterday, and I thought about inviting him back today to be in on this. He lives 40 miles away, but Jeff is a busy man, and I don't ever give anybody access to him. But he's, I do have him, every class I do locally, I always invite him to come by and speak and try to give the folks a treat. Jeff was in my class back in '97, and I was teaching people how to energize water, one small cup of water, because that's all how I knew how to do. And he said, "Are you putting energy in that water?" I said, "Well, yeah, I think so." "Well, if you're putting energy in it, I can put vitamins and minerals in it." I said, "Well, I never thought about that, but you probably can." He stopped eating. He lives on water. And he occasionally will eat a peanut or a cashew or popcorn. Or if I'm taking, I used to take him and the local judge out to eat. Well, it was a small, well, 4 of us. We'd go out to eat occasionally. Usually we'd be going to a gun show and stop at a Mexican restaurant on the way back. Jeff would actually put salt on a corn chip and eat it. But that's it. He just, I actually saw him eat French fries one time. He likes anything with salt on it. But as far as a meal like you and I would eat, no. He just made up his mind that he could do it. Now, Jeff is also unique in many other ways. He is my #1 winner in prosperity. That man can almost pull money out of thin air. It's amazing. He's a matter of fact, I really kind of wish I had invited him up to being on this today, because I've only taught 3 classes this year. 2 were local, 1 was down in Georgia, so he and I went down there together. And I always just let him talk to the group. They ask him any questions they want, but the answers are always the same. He just believes he can do it. And with intent alone, he puts all his vitamins and minerals in water. And he said he never really liked to eat anyway. He was so allergic to everything. He couldn't even wear blue jeans. He was allergic to the dye. After he come to class one time, he was never allergic to anything else. He threw all his allergy medications away. He totally changed his life. Of all the people I've taught a few thousand. Jeff Jones is at the top of the head of the class. He was over, he tells me stories in class. He was $500,000 in debt. And he set a goal to pay it off. And he was only making $10,000 a year at the time. He paid the debt off. He's made fantastic strides in most every walk of life. Okay, I see Amy's on there now. I don't know what happened to.
Thank you, Raymond. Appreciate it. Very grateful to you.
That's the best answer I can give you right now. I'll tell you what, if you'll write me, I will, if I can find it, I will send you a TV show where Jeff and I were on together. I'll be glad to do that for you.
Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right. Bless you.
Okay, thanks, Jason. So we have the last question for you, Raymond. Linda Lacus. Linda, if you'll unmute.
Amy showed up for, Amy Richards showed up.
Oh, there she is.
Happened. She ran away or something. I want to talk to Amy.
Okay, so why don't we'll ask Amy to unmute after this question. How's that? Will that work for you?
Is it okay with Raymond?
Yeah, who have we got here now?
Okay.
I'm Linda. Hi, Raymond.
Okay, Linda.
My question is there any help for narcissists?
Yeah, it's a 6-foot hole in the ground.
Yeah, okay. Nothing else?
Don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I never tried. I stay away from them. I keep them away from me. You might try taking away narcissistic archetypes. It's not going to cost you anything, so give it a try. Measure how many narcissistic archetypes does the person have, and ask if you can neutralize them. Give them archetypes of humility.
Okay. Okay, I will try.
Yeah, worst you'll do is nothing, so go for it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for this day. This is really great.
Thanks for being here.
Okay, so Amy Richards, if you'd like to unmute, maybe turn on your camera. Raymond would like to talk to you.
Hello.
Hey, Amy, I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Hi, Raymond. I've been watching you and listening to you on and off. I've been driving and listening to you on the car radio, and then just stopped for a minute and just wanted to say hi and thank you so much. You were wonderful.
Well, I saw your name. Rusty doing better now?
I am. Thank you.
I say,
Thank
is
you
Rusty
very much.
doing better?
Oh, yes, Rusty is doing much better. He said he's turned the corner, and thank you so much for your help.
Give him my regards. Tell him
I
still
will.
like his music. All right, bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
And Raymond, I have one last question for you.
Okay.
I know we had talked previously about some ways that, you know, if you have something, an influence or something that you want to change, you can often scramble the frequency, like maybe like something like 5G or something like that. You could scramble the frequency so it doesn't have a negative effect. And I was wondering if you could do that with something like a virus or a vaccine.
Well, you know, I don't particularly want to get into that, but let me say this, especially about the vaccine, about the virus. In my opinion, and this is an opinion, an uneducated opinion at that, but I'm not I think fear attracts stuff. We attract what we fear. Well, you've got a whole world full of people that are scared. And the reason they're scared is because of all of the fear that is put out on the TV. I have never seen anything advertised on TV, and I'm not a TV watcher really, but I think it's safe to say there has never been anything advertised on TV more than the virus and the vaccine. Now, there's a reason for that. Now, I've studied brainwashing for 48 years. I'm not an expert on it, but I know it when I see it. I've never seen so much brainwashing put on not the American public, but the entire world is what they're doing and have been doing for 2 years. I personally think the best resistance to any disease is a strong immune system. Positive.
Sorry about that.
Okay, I'll get you back in a minute. We still
Okay.
got Amy's name up there.
Yeah, I went ahead and muted her. So you were saying that the strongest thing we can do for our immune system?
That's what I think. Now, I'll tell you what I am doing. As a matter of fact, Jeff Jones come back here yesterday and I gave him some of it, is I made a big batch, made so far 8 gallons of pine needle tea. And from what I have heard about it, it is a wonderful antioxidant. So I thought, well, we'll try it. If Jeff believes that he can put all his vitamins and minerals in water, then if I make that tea, he can believe that that's going to make him immune to any kind of a virus. And it probably will. So I'm not the best person to ask about this. I do not wear a mask. Never have. The governor made a law on it. I ignored it. I don't wear seatbelts. I mean, they make all the kind of laws they want. I'm going to ignore most of them. So, I can tell you more about this, but I probably better not, because this is being recorded, and I never know who's going to listen to it. But let's just connect some dots. You've heard me tell the story about taking the arsenic out of water of a well in Canada. You've heard me tell the story about the alfalfa field that was sprayed with Roundup, and I turned it into fertilizer. Okay, how many examples do our listeners out there need before they connect the dots and say, hey, I can do this with a vaccine? That's all I'm going to say on it. You either get it or you don't.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I want to thank you, and Tracy, you can come on too if you want. And it's been totally delightful, Raymond, having you. And we appreciate it so much. We set a world record of, I think it was over 230, 240 people on our meeting today. And we just want to appreciate your support of dowsing all over the world and empowering people through dowsing, and your support of, because that's our goal as well, and your support of our organization. And want to invite you back next year.
Well, but anyway, how many people did we have? Because it was a glitch in the internet system here whenever you were telling about how many. So what did we wind up with?
I think it's over
The highest
230.
I saw, 234 was the highest number that I think I saw.
Okay, I'm hoping for 500, but that's okay.
Well, I'll tell you, that's
Next year.
double. That's double the most
Oh,
we
you
ever
can-
had before. So that was really great. And so we
All
thank
right,
you for
well, I
that.
appreciate the opportunity. Glad to work with you. It's been a good group of people to work with. Everybody was nice and polite, and I tried to be the same way to them. So it worked out good. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Well, thank you.
You're
And
very
thanks
welcome.
to
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you, Raymond.
Yeah,
Thank you, Raymond.
Thank you, Raymond.
thank you.
Bye.
And I want to invite
Bye-bye.
everybody to copy the
Thank
chat.
you.
If you go
Copy the
down to
chat.
the chat at the very bottom, there's a save chat option there. You can save the chat, and any of the links or anything that came up in the chat in the process of the meeting, you will have. So I would welcome you, before we turn it off, go ahead and copy the chat. And thanks for being our world record attendee meeting. And we hope to see you, same link,
Thank you,
1:30
Kathy.
p.m. Pacific time,
In
first
December,
Saturday.
on the 4th.
December on the 4th.
Yeah, and it's the first Saturday of every month. So any first Saturday, just mark it off on your calendar at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time, and we will be here with somebody awesome. And just kind of to recap, the most important thing I thought about Raymond's thing is, just scramble the energy of things you don't like and change it into something you do like, and just do it whether you think you can or not. And and see how awesome it works.
Right.
So thank you all.
Oh, and the other
Awesome.
thing is, this meeting is at the same link every month. So if you have a link to one of the meetings, you got a link to all of them. Okay.
Thank
Super
you
cool.
all.
Great job, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you, Kathy.
We'll see. Thank you all. And I'm gonna click it off. Goodbye.
Bye.